I manage our relationships really with external partners. So folks like Ideon that help exchange data between Ben admins back to benefits providers. That's definitely where I play, managing relationships both with Ideon as well as with those downstream partners. So really spending a lot of time thinking about like how does Beam go to market in the like digital distribution space? How do we sell our and distribute our products in the most efficient way possible? In terms of how we think about partnership strategy. There's a couple different ways that we look about it. I'd say one is like, do we potentially have access into a limited marketplace of where Beam is going to be one of two, one of three, maybe one of four providers? That's really attractive to Beam. What does a partner's kind of technology stack look like in terms of their ability to integrate? If a new partner comes to us and says, hey, we're already integrated with Ideon for X, Y, and Z thing, that's great for us. Because for one, we know there's not a ton of work. There's some work, but there's not a ton that has to be done to activate that new partner versus a net new connection. How do they think about API connectivity for one? Is that something they've even considered? Have they done it with any other partners? Do they have the infrastructure and ecosystem to be able to support it? How are they playing with technology? And then how does that mesh with Beam's own set of solutions? And then the third one I'd say is like, are they willing to offer all of our product lines? Is a big piece too. Like obviously we're primarily historically have been kind of a dental first company, but we're really now focused on Beam as an ancillary benefits provider, full stop. And especially as we expand more in the disability lines, we want to find partners that are willing to play with and distribute our full set of products. The changes that we're seeing is there's just a move towards like efficiency is king in terms of saving the true distributor of our products, the brokers of our products, selling our products, like especially in the small group market where we know that brokers care most about being really, really quick and not having to spend a ton of time doing a 10 employee group, but knowing that they're getting a really, really strong product with a great support structure. So we pride ourselves on being able to deliver solutions that serve that small group market as well as serve the needs of the distributors in those markets and meeting them where they are. If they use a tool that they want to quote business on, Beam's going to find a way to connect to that platform, whether it's through Ideon, whether it's directly. We're going to meet the distributor where they are. If they want to come to Beam to access quotes, we have a quoting tool that folks can use directly to be able to really maximize the efficiency of their business. Meeting distributors where they are in the benefits ecosystem, upstream and quoting platforms, all the way downstream into Ben admin platforms is really exciting. And how we've kind of seen it like develop over the last decade is just like technology's at the forefront of all of this stuff now. The ideas of having exposable functionality of core functions of our business, enrollment, admin, quoting, how do we expose these into third-party platforms and embed our products into the benefits ecosystem really are inherent with the way Beam's kind of built its set of functionality, built its core capabilities. It's pretty unique in that sense of what we're able to do and be able to go to market really quick with new integrations with new platforms as they come up because we've kind of built things with the concept of exposability in mind. And so now that the market is moving there substantially, Beam's really well positioned to be able to connect with different platforms in a really fast and efficient way and meet those distributors where they are in the marketplace. Yeah, being a digitally native company, it's fascinating. We didn't have to build anything net new since I've been at Beam in order to take quoting as an example. We haven't touched those APIs since I've been here. It's been a matter of like finding partners that are able and willing to connect to the functionality that we've already built. And so it isn't a huge initiative on Beam's front to be able to like, how do we have a third-party quote platform connect into Beam's rating APIs? It's a matter of configuration effort and kind of this is credentialing and pieces like that. Like there's some lift, but it's not net new development. It's not a whole initiative of rewriting our kind of core infrastructure. Whereas the challenge of a legacy carrier is just that they're 100-plus-year-old organizations with core admin systems that were built before the internet existed, and then have been piled on top of years over years through acquisitions, through adding new lines, all without like the concept of exposability and like even cloud computing, like really at the forefront of it. And so it's a difficult situation of being a legacy carrier. Like, how do you then move into the like the fully integrated like benefits technology ecosystem? And a lot are doing a really good job, especially with partners like Ideon. So there's no doubt that like, well, it's not like we don't face competition in the space by any means. We do every single day. But Beam is just really well positioned in that, like at our core, we're a digitally native company. So being able to expose our core core functions into the ecosystem is just inherent in our business. And any new capabilities that we develop kind of have that at its core as well. It makes us really good at going to market about like, hey, broker, if you want to use our quoting platform, fantastic. Like, here's a quoting tool that we've developed that you can sign into. You can get really, really sharp plans on. But hey, you want to also connect into XYZ external platform with the rating API that we're building with Ideon. Like, the rates that the broker gets in that outside platform will be identical to what they would have gotten had they come to Beam directly, which is why we're super bullish about moving towards rating APIs over the long term for Beam's ability to census underwrite business, especially in the less than 100 life space. We know that with a rating API, the rates that are returned will always be bindable at that rate. We're able to make sure that and really tightly control what is quoted and what's returned. So the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones that's enabled us to really differentiate ourselves in the market is our implementation turnaround times. So fourth quarter, Beam's implementation turnaround time was like 2.5, 3 days from the point of sold case to bound policy. Major carriers, that's a 2 to 3 week time frame in the good case scenario. And that function of like our core systems to enable implementation are just really, really well built to the degree of like, if we have everything we need, it doesn't take someone very long to actually implement the group. Our service and support structure is like the thing we get a ton of accolades from the broker community, is that even when there are issues and they do inevitably pop up in our business, like our response times are really, really quick. Our ability to be proactive about finding and stopping errors before they become a bigger thing, our ability to be responsive and just like provide gold star service. So how do you prove yourself in the industry is that you provide unparalleled service, as well as a product that kind of far and away beats the competition. So that's what Beam really prides itself on. We definitely see the value of kind of the partnership with Ideon from a middleware standpoint in terms of as Beam has transitioned from Beam Dental to Beam Benefits, and we've brought on voluntary life, accident, hospital, critical illness, soon to be salary-based disability and life products as well. Our ability to turn those products on through one connection to multiple players in the benefits ecosystem is game-changing. So it definitely is a powerful thing that we want to continue to invest in and we see the value in. We'll connect with partners directly if that's their preferred method. But again, we'll meet folks where they are. And some folks will say, hey, the only way we want to connect with you is through an Ideon. More than happy to make that happen. And it makes our jobs a lot easier too, knowing that we have a trusted player in the middle to ensure that the data that's getting presented and the data that's being received back by Beam is all in top fashion. The benefit is that when we're working with Ideon, like Beam to some degree gets shielded from what the platform has to go through in terms of an integration. So we know that there isn't as much back and forth between Beam and the platform in order to make quoting work, as an example, when we know Ideon's in the middle and secure basically is responsible for facilitating that. Like if we hold up our end of the bargain and get connected with Ideon's holding up their end of the bargain to get connected with XYZ platform, and Beam doesn't have to spend as much time worrying about that. Versus going directly, we have to really manage a lot of the end-to-end testing directly with the platform to make sure things work out. We see it as an enabler of growth. Of if there are platforms that have connected in with Ideon to facilitate quoting, we know we have a standard integration. It's one we're making better by moving towards our rating APIs. That we're going to be able to put out the Beam's sharpest rates instantly into the market and create corresponding quote IDs on our side so we can all sync up and track to it. That's awesome for us. Like we want to be able to do that, and we see it as like a turnkey enabler for distribution growth, because once the integration exists, to your point, we're able to take it to new platforms in a relatively quick way. It's going to be instantaneous policy issuance is where Beam is moving towards, and where I think the benefits industry overall is going to move towards. The industry has made a lot of progress in the last 10 years on that enrollment space in terms of how do we accept enrollments from outside platforms, how do we load them into our system. We're seeing more trends taking off in the quoting space in terms of instantaneous quoting. We still have a ways to go to really get there, being on the forefront of that with rating APIs. Where the next place it's going to go is how do you bridge the gap between the two of take a quoted product, win it, turn it into a bindable policy, and then have it ready for enrollment to accept the employees that have actually bought the thing and want to now be enrolled in coverage. That's like the end-to-end experience of like a fully automated quote bind and roll solution that carriers have been talking about for a decade. Like that's where we're going to actually get to. And we're seeing kind of the foundations laid now that's going to put us in a place to be able to execute on it.